Good evening, guys. My name is Larry Atwater, and I would like to say good evening to my class at EDUF 7116. Um, this is my final video concerning my research proposal. So let's get into it. My research proposal is titled Public School Administration Teams. Which gender configuration is the most proficient as a unit? Um, I was having an issue with trying to come up with an idea for my research proposal when I realized that I am an EBS student at Columbus State University, and I'm also studying in leadership or whatnot. So I started looking and taking a look and trying to figure out what would be a good topic to start based off the different topics that Dr. McBride gave us. Well, with a little planning, I came up with this. I always wanted to know what unified team or what administration team based off their gender is the most effective in public schools today. Is it an all-male administrative team? Is it an all-female administrative team? Or would it be a mixed group administrative team, meaning a mixture of male and female? And from there, I began my research. Here's my table of contents, which give you information on where to find different topics and where to go to look for different things. For example, my abstract is on page 3. My chapter 1 introduction starts on page 4, and then from there, you have my introduction, statement of purpose, my statement of research questions, my limitations to this research proposal, and my key terms that I used throughout the proposal. Also, chapter 2 is my review of literature. We had to create a review of literature early on in this semester, and I included that within my research proposal to give you guys more in-depth idea of how this research should play out and why it is important. Chapter 3 moves on to methods. This gives you a detailed description of what I want to research and how I plan it out based off the participants who will participate in this type of study, the duration of this study, the different types of instruments that I will use to collect my data, as well as the research design, which type of design did I choose to go with to prepare this research study, and also my analysis. At the end, I have my references, and I also have an appendix, which includes some of the instruments, example instruments that will probably be used throughout the research. Here's my abstract. In my abstract is basically here to give you guys an upfront insight onto what this research proposal is all about. My abstract starts off by saying administrators have been given a daunting task to try to create a positive school culture that fosters positive morale, academic excellence, parental involvement, and build meaningful relationships within the community at the expense of their employment status. Many administrators lose their jobs if these elements aren't accomplished in a timely manner. However, despite the pressure, some administrators have managed to accomplish the task at hand. This research proposal is an in-depth case study that will look at gender roles within an administrative team and explore which gender configuration is the most proficient as a unit. The researcher will investigate 3 different gender-based administrative teams: an all-male team, an all-female team, and a mixed gender team and determine which configuration is the best to have within a public school setting. The research will be a qualitative study utilizing a case study approach to achieving the desired goals. The data from this research will be in the form of videos, surveys, interviews, and questionnaires. So with that abstract right there, that gives you an upfront idea of how to begin reading this research proposal and what to look for and be objective towards it or whatnot. I remember Dr. McBride saying something that, you want to be passionate about what you're trying to research. And I felt like this was something that was very passionate of mine. I just curious. I'm not really trying to prove anything or find a new philosophy. I just want to find out information to explore more into that, because basically the information that I found on the web and through research, there's not really much information out there that's really focusing on the team aspect. Most of the information focus on the actual principle. And we all know, those of you who are educators, that the principal doesn't do everything by themselves. He has a team of administrators, and with that team, he delegates different types of responsibilities to each one of those individuals. So I want to look at the team aspect and not just the individual position. And I want to explore more and possibly find a solution or maybe enlighten the educational world that if you put this structured team or this type of team together, you're more than likely to have a more beneficial type of climate atmosphere within your school. Chapter 1, the introduction. I'm not going to really go into reading the introduction, but basically, I asked different questions that's concerning, that's really strong about the administrative team. For example, I asked, what makes a good principal? Is it individual qualities? Is it a strong work ethic? Or are the people that he or she may have around them in key positions that make him or her look effective? Much of the research out there, once again, I told you, focus on individual position. But the truth is most principals have a team of administrators who share in the daily operating responsibilities. And I give you a little more information about their responsibility as a principal. But I wanted to take a look at most public school system and their administrative team as is compared to key positions like the principal and one or more assistant principals that provide added assistance with the shared responsibility of the school daily routine. This study is to show a comparison of public school administrative teams in reference to their gender and team proficiency as well as their cohesiveness. My statement of the research question. Now this is important because these questions is my statement, and it's basically stating what I want to research and how I want to, structure this research. This research will be answering questions: which gender configuration is the most proficient as a unit? Is it an all-male administrative team, an all-female administrative team, or a mixed gender male and female administrative team? Because of the gender aspects, the researcher wants to know how will gender roles relate to public school administrative team. For example, in terms of sociology and psychological development, do certain genders give administrative teams an advantage over others? Do certain genders work better together than others in a team environment? Is it possible that one gender can possess better leadership aptitude than the other? Or which gender-based team is more adaptable to handling job-related stress better? The purpose of this study is to measure the proficiency of administrative teams that are comprised of gender-specific groups such as all female, all male, or mixture of both. We want to improve the way we deal with children, parents, employees, and the community. So that is basically my purpose for this search. I want to, focusing in on those administrative teams to see which one is the best. To see which one is the best one to have or to hire or to structure if you was a superintendent of a public school system. There are many limitations, okay? Some of the limitations that I feel will come across in conducting this study is the possibility that the researcher will find that many of the participants in this group may be very busy, and of course I'll have to respect their time and effort. Secondly, the amount of time it would take to receive back the data from the test subjects. Once again, this project will be working with administrators, and as you know, they have a lot to do during work hours. Therefore, filling out a survey or giving an interview may not be the first thing on their mind. In addition, the method that will be used to gather data and the facts that the researcher will be studying 6 different teams, it's supposed to be 9 different teams, and internal or casual validity will be questioned. This term means that there is an ability to infer that a causal relationship exists between the variables. There is also ecological validity that must be considered within this research. The biggest thing to consider with ecological validity is the fact that the sampling groups will be aware of the fact that they are an active participant in a research study. Therefore, the reactive effect is something we have to consider by this test subject, knowing that they are participating in a research study. This knowledge may affect the way each individual participating in the study and may alter their performance. This is no way to judge the type of behavior. Therefore, the research must take in consideration for these actions to be included within the study. Research bias is a threat because this will be a qualitative type of research. The research wants to stay clear of finding what they want to find in this research study. Here are some key terms that you will see throughout the paper, the proposal and whatnot. You take a look at those. The terms range from accessible population, case study, convenient sampling, comprehensive sampling, ecological validity, empirical statement, hierarchical analysis, in-person interview, interim analysis, interview, qualitative interview, qualitative questionnaire, reactive effect, research bias, transcription. Chapter 2, literature review. Once again, I told you we had to submit a literary review early on, and you can take a moment yourself to go through and read this information that gives information about my research topic and why I chose to go with this topic, and also takes a look at the information out there that I found, and hopefully it provides a good enough support for my statements or claims that were made. Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is my method. My participants. The research participant will be volunteers, but they will be given a free meal to a popular all-you-can-eat buffet once the research is over. The participant will originate from the southeastern United States, derived from 3 different public school districts. All 3 districts included in the study are Title I school districts. There will be a total of 9 teams that will actually be studied. Each team will consist of a principal, the head leader of each separate group, 3 assistant principals. The target group would all derive from secondary schools such as middle and high school only. Due to the specific parameters needed to make up the target teams, primary schools were eliminated in this study because they do not have the specific numbers of participants to create the desired administrative team configuration. The groups will be discovered at that point by selecting 9 administrative teams, 3 per school district. The configuration of the teams will consist of 1 all-male administrative team, 1 all-female administrative team, and 1 mixed group, male and female. Each district will have 3 teams with those configurations that will be used to represent their respective district. However, this is not a study to compare districts. Therefore, the district names, participant names, and the school identity will remain discrete. The team will be labeled District 1, 2, and 3 for labeling purposes. Each group in each district will have the sub-name of Group 1, 2, and 3 as coupled to their respective district. Instrument. The types of things that I will be using to collect the data. In order to achieve total satisfaction from this research, one method of data collection will not suffice. Therefore, a triangulation of data will be used to acquire total satisfaction. The data collection from this research will consist of video observations, surveys, interviews, as well as questionnaires. All right, the design. The design will be of this research will be in the form of an intrinsic case study. The full purpose of this study is to identify which gender configuration is the best to have as an administrative team within the public school setting. The reason for this approach is because of the team exploration. Want to explore. The research want to explore, perhaps learn more about administrative teams operating more effectively within a public school by carrying out the daily operation of the school, interaction with all stakeholders, and amongst themselves on a professional level. There will be 9 administrative teams altogether, 3 teams per school district. And I just go on and give you some more details basically about what I just spoke of earlier. And how it will be divided and identified. Data will be taken on the subjects for a full school calendar year. The data collection will begin the first semester of the school year. This time is usually the best because the first semester is where you will have an opportunity to gain the most reliable data. Usually administrative teams are new and unfamiliar with each other because of how principals are being reassigned or removed from their principalship duties for whatever reasons. This group will be observed during the normal work hours using video observation, open-ended questionnaires and interviews from other people such as community, students, and all stakeholders. The interview will be conducted at specific times, usually after an administrative meeting. The questions will not be directed towards the context of the administrative meeting, but more so focus on how they felt before and after the meeting, team building strategies that may have been utilized, their feelings towards working with their colleagues, and suggestions and comments that they may have. Questionnaires will be given out to all stakeholders on a consistent basis throughout the semester to gather more insight for the community, students, and teachers. The questionnaires will be 10 multiple choice questions that will ask things about the administrative team concerning communicating, welcoming parental involvement, community access to the facility, and rate the performance as a team. Surveys will be given out to faculty and staff once a month, usually after the regular faculty and staff meetings. The surveys will be open-ended questions that will allow the faculty and staff to provide anonymous information about the performance of their administrator as a group. At the end of the school year, the data will be collected and reviewed to create a final report of the information. At that time, all the participants will receive their free meal to the popular all-you-can-eat buffet dinner. At the dinner, a presentation of the research and the results will be revealed and presented to the participants. The data analysis, once again, the data will be reviewed in an ongoing process or what is called an interim analysis. This means that the data will be collected early within the research. The data would then be analyzed, and then the research will collect more data and analyze it again. This process will continue throughout the data collection period of the duration of the research study. The research will be used as a visual content analysis on the video recording during the actual school day. Notes will be taken on the video as the researcher evaluate the different groups. In addition to the video, collection, all interviews, observations, surveys, and questionnaires will be transcribed. The data information will be transformed into typed text. Here are my references that I found and use. My appendix. Here's a quick look at my example questionnaire, or some of the questions that the stakeholders will see. What is your opinion of the current administrative team effectiveness within the school thus far? It's an error right there. What is your opinion on the current administrative ability to establish good communication with the community, students, and faculty and staff? You can go through some of those yourself and see how they are. 10 questions. Also, here's an example of a survey. It's a true and false. They will have, the person readers will have to identify their teacher, student, or parent. So the researchers will know how to gauge this information or place or categorize this data as well. You know, if you look at the first question, my administrators are visible and active in the hallways at all times of the day. True or false? My school climate is positive due to my current administration. True or false? My administration provide academic excellence at all times. True or false? So, you know, just a bunch of true and false questions that are related to basically the performance, cohesiveness, and interaction of each administrative team within their building. And here's an example of some of the interview questions. These will be personal interview questions. So I'll be sitting down with each, the researcher will be sitting down with each individual team member on the administrative team, and the question will be presented to them, as well as audio data will be collected from the interviewee. All right, so that is my research proposal in a nutshell. This is what I'm presenting to Professor McBride. I still have some corrections I see I have to make on them, but however, I'd like to thank you. This concludes my video. Thanks.